Hello and welcome to my vlog. Today we're going to talk about inspiration and guidance from heaven. We are going to explore how it is determined and delivered to us. What has been revealed by the Spirit Kathleen as she talks to the Reverend G. Val Owen is plainly amazing. That our lives are truly planned out and we are led by a legion of spirits who are interested in our lives, who we are, and where we are going. Let's begin. The Spirit Kathleen tells us directly and in plain English that our lives are predestined, that we on earth follow a plan that has been created from the higher reaches of heaven. Listen to her words. Know you, therefore, you who dwell in one of the uttermost of these spheres, that such duties as are assigned to you have all been worked out as to their class, and the end to which they tend, by those who dwell in realms far above you. These schemes of allotted service are transmitted downward until they reach you, and are made known to you sometimes in one manner, sometimes in another, and to one more plainly, and to another less watchful, not so plain. Nevertheless, all who run the race of the earth life may read this scroll, if he choose, and persevere still to will that light be vouchsafed to him as to what his life shall be, and to what end he has been guided. I was not one of the so watchful until I was told of a future event that was so specific as to be unbelievable, yet it did occur. From that seed I embarked on a discovery to understand how and why our lives are predestined. I found the answer in Spiritism. In fact, after learning and reading everything I could get my hands on about Spiritism, I wrote a book detailing how my life was guided by spirits above. 7 tenets of Spiritism, how they impact your daily life. In examining my life, I found I had many signs and signals that I had blissfully ignored. Like a 5-year-old who doesn't understand, he is being manipulated. In essence, Spiritism lays out the reason we are on earth and what is our destiny. We are here to learn to become civilized spirits, to utilize our vast potential for good. All of the chaos and hardships on earth are the direct result of past wrongs we have committed. The spirit world expends great effort to show us the effects of those hurtful and wrongful past deeds. We are immortal souls who will travel through life after life until we learn that love, charity, fraternity, and honor should be the keystones of our everyday life. Sounds simple and direct, but extremely difficult in practice. I fail in some way every day. The Spirit Kathleen communicated with the Reverend G. Val Owen in November 1917 about how we are guided and inspired by spirits to follow the path predestined for us. She revealed that we don't follow a set plan that is known to all. The spirits directing us are only allowed a short foretaste into our future. Only at the highest levels is everything known. Kathleen goes into detail what is revealed to us and what we can and can't do against our assigned destiny. But to few is given to know or glimpse the future far ahead. Sufficient unto the day is the rule, as he once said, and this suffices, so your trust be firm and quiet all the time, not because the future is not known, but only because it is competent alone for those of high capacity and estate to view the distant course of life's grand purpose, and our capacity is sufficient for just a little view, and that of man in average scarce for any view ahead at all. As such schemes are given through so many spheres descending, it is therefore of natural consequence that they be tinctured by the dominant character of each of those spheres through which they filter downwards. And, by the time they reach you, they partake of a nature so complex in design that the ultimate issue is very hard to discover, even to us times oft, who have some practiced skill in the matter. This is one purpose and use of faith, to be able to realize one's duty and no more, and on that conviction to go forth and do valiantly, never doubting that the end is seen by those who compass the design. Kathleen is telling us that, like good soldiers, spirits obey orders, even though they are not sure what is the intent and objective of the command. The knowledge that their superiors above are aware of the situation and are focused on the ultimate goal keeps their dedication steady. Spirits realize by their interaction with superior spirits that these high souls are in a position of leadership because they have earned it. They have passed test after test and arrived at their present level on merit alone, and, having arrived, they do not lord over inferior spirits, but treated everyone with humility and respect. Even more is revealed to us. As one descends in the levels of heaven, all the way down to earth, the span of future sight narrows until it reaches ground level, where the present is all that is exposed. We, on the receiving end, are following an invisible script, unknowingly acting on cue and speaking our lines until we make choices that draw us off course. Kathleen elaborates. For every man is free to choose, and no man's will is overruled in the matter of his choosing. If he choose to go faithfully onward and with trust, then the end is sure. If he choose to go out of the way designed, then he is not let nor forced. Guidance is offered then and gently. If this be refused, he is left to go alone, yet not alone, for others will be his companions, and that in plenty. The choice is always between one of love, charity, fraternity, and honor, against flight from responsibility, selfishness, greed, envy, and revenge. We would not need any external guidance if we learned to follow our inner voice, our conscience. Nevertheless, the spirit realm fully understands our infinite capacity to rationalize away our basic decisions and attempts to supply us with a reminder. Mostly, certainly in my case, we make the mental gymnastics to convince ourselves of the rightness of our decision and overrule that nagging voice inside, which incessantly tries to light the way to the true path. The argument that other people are doing it too was always one of my trusty standbys. Fortunately for us, Spiritism, brought to us by Allan Kardec, describes the rewards for delaying immediate gratification against the immense benefits of a heavenly reward, 100 times more than what we could ever experience on earth. The loving atmosphere of heaven, from the first level to the top, is a goal worth denying yourself of any ill-gotten gain on earth. In the physical world, all states are temporary. In the spirit realm, all is eternal. An example of guiding the human race. When one reads the Bible or compilations of messages from inspired authors by spirits, the information is interesting, but one is not able to grasp the process behind the concept. Kathleen tells us we are guided, but what does that mean? How does that work? The Spirit Kathleen supplies us with an example. This is what makes the book, Beyond the Veil, so unique, so wonderful. Information is given, explained, and then we are also provided with examples. Everything in textbook style is there to satisfy our urge to uncover every last nugget of information. Kathleen delivers a detailed explanation of the process of influencing events in progress of the human race on Earth. She begins. In order to illustrate our meaning, a book will be projected whose need is seen. We will say that those in a sphere whose dominant note is that of science will conceive the outline of the book. This is handed on to another sphere whose note is love. Into the scheme will be infused a softening, rounding off effect, and the scheme handed on. A sphere where beauty rules will add some illustrations which will give harmony and color to the theme. Then it will come to such a company as they who study the different traits dominant in the races of mankind. These will study very carefully the theme itself and look for the nation most fitted to put the venture forth in the world. This decided, they will carefully select the next sphere to which it shall be entrusted. It may need an infusion of historical precedents, or a poetical vein, or a romance, perchance. And what started out a framework of hard scientific fact may issue into the earth plane as a scientific treatise, an historical resume, a novel, or even a poem or hymn. Nothing is done on a whim by a higher spirit. All is thought out, each possible outcome is mapped, and each option is analyzed. Multiple departments examine the plan and add, subtract, or modify the details. There is no supreme intelligence determining our every move. It doesn't work that way. God provides the grand structure, the noble goal, and spirits at many levels, who all have started out like us, create and work to implement the plan. All along the process, during creation, implementation, and delivery, each phase is monitored and possible slight alterations made. There truly is an army of spirit benefactors working to move our herd of slow-thinking humanity onward to a better world. Imagine what the earth could be like today if we actually cooperated. Kathleen reiterates that the method to achieve assigned goals are flexible. For you will readily understand that such schemes are originated not all in one sphere, but in many, and do not pass all from one sphere into another in identical order. Also, what may originate as a book may, before it reaches you, have been so much transfigured as to become an act of parliament or a play or even a commercial enterprise. There is no finality to the ways and means. Whatever eventually seems to commend itself to the group of companies concerned in the production of any scheme in the service of God, and on behalf of man is pressed into service. Thus it is that men work out the work of those who watch and guide them from on high. Let such then realize what great host of helpers they have behind them, and go forward bravely, nothing doubting, never faltering in their way, for they are not alone. Under the leadership of Christ, we, once and future earthly humans, who have experienced the pain and joys of physical existence, are core to the day-to-day efforts to guide those who are on the planet under a cloud of ignorance. We, the incarnated, travel through our life under the impression that we can find bliss at some future point. If we just plan ahead and save for a rainy day, we could amass the required savings to find a peaceful sanctuary and live as we wish. Spiritism smashes this fallacy. We are on earth to change, to learn, to grow, and that is next to impossible without stimuli. We aren't allowed to retreat. We must be present in the class and participate. There is a legion of former incarnates who are back in the spirit realm, whose job is to move us, as a collective and individually, forward. We are nothing but a grain of sand on the beach, as powerful and incessant waves pound us, each wave imperceptibly transforming our character to the better. If you are interested more in how the spirit world guides us, please read my book, How We Are Guided by Spirits, Book 3 of Spiritism. Book 3 illustrates the ground game of the spirit world via the messages of multiple spirits to the Reverend G. Val Owen. We are presented examples of how the spirit realm above us peers down upon their unruly students. The process of tracking and modifying behavior on an individual and a collective basis is revealed. Even the broader direction of human society in the future is posted for all to see. God bless.